Welcome back to DreamHack Bucharest, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 4 is going to come up next. We have a 2-1 lead for Team Liquid currently. And, well, Gamers 2, they already showed that they are at least able to take a map of Team Liquid. It was something that no other team has yet done at this tournament. It was the first one that lost.
Already.
Yeah. So now we can go into Sky Temple, a map that we've seen yesterday too, and this is going to be a really interesting one, since with the objectives you can do a lot here, meaning that you don't necessarily have to go into every single team fight. You can oftentimes play around the opponent here.
Very much so. So we'll have to see how Gamers 2 play around this, because Liquid have been very confident on all the maps, and I'm very interested about the draft mostly, due to the fact that most of the times Gamers 2 have just sort of let Liquid get what they want, and just picked out a couple things every now and again. And it's just not really been happening in favor of Gamers 2 with them getting their own stuff, because the Sylvanas has always been taken by Liquid in most of the cases. The Malfurion, if they leave it open, is taken by Liquid, and they're still letting Liquid every single time take that Lost Vikings.
Exactly, that's a really interesting point, that Lost Vikings never really banned. Apparently they don't feel that Lost Vikings are really a threat to them, that they can still get all the experience here. On a map like Sky Temple, it's very tricky though to play against them, especially since in that first Temple phase you oftentimes try to reach level 10. If you keep someone on that top lane to soak experience, you can get really far ahead. It's one of the reasons why Brightwing is being played on that map a lot, and also why we're having ETC with a stage dive on the map too. So with Lost Vikings, there could be a potential ban. Maybe Gamers 2 is going to shake it up a bit during the draft and tries to just get ahead by completely destroying the comp that Team Liquid has been playing so far.
Quite possibly. We will have to see. For now, we're just waiting for both teams to ready up with the draft, and then we can get it underway. Really looking forward to this. We mentioned the pressure is on Gamers 2. We actually already have them readied up, and it is first pick going over to Team Liquid.
Team Liquid with another first pick here now, and they've been doing pretty well so far. They lost that one map on the other hand, and that was a little bit tricky because they were so far ahead the entire time, really establishing a lead for themselves, and then just losing that one decisive battle, especially because we're heading this one situation where that Void Prism just didn't really hit the way that it was supposed to, and all of a sudden it snowballed out of their control and they lost the map because of it. Now though, they are still in the lead. A 2-1 in the best of 5 series hit the grand final, and the bans this time again on Abathur and Uther.
Yeah, very unsurprising. Last time we did actually see the Uther get through, because Gamers 2 went for a more targeted ban, but the Abathur so consistent against Gamers 2, absolute respect there, and the Uther, although Gamers 2 were the ones who used it in that game, didn't really help them enough, so they're banning it out just to make sure that Liquid don't get it.
It's also kind of interesting because it also starts to indicate that Gamers 2 is not going to try and play the same composition that they played before. Wow, there we go. No, we have no Lost Vikings. At least not for now. We have Illidan instead being first pick for Team Liquid. Have, of course, still an opportunity to go into Lost Vikings later if Gamers 2 don't ban them out, but Team Liquid already signaling here, hey, we are going to play in Illidan comp.
Yep, they know what they want, and they are going for it. And Sky Temple is a very good map to go for Illidan, because you eventually have to dive, and it doesn't have to be under an opponent's base. It can absolutely be into those temples, because the objectives are such wide areas that allows Illidan full movement, but yet small enough that if you do Metamorphosis, you're going to hit a lot of people.
And we have Sergeant Hammer taking Hammer in general, a very, very good... Oh, wow, they go for Hammer and the Vikings. Not only picking Hammer, which they really like, and Team Liquid has been trying to pick away several times now, but also for the Lost Vikings. So they are trying to basically give Team Liquid a taste of their own medicine here.
Very much so. That steal is pretty important. Liquid, responding in kind, immediately picking away the Malfurion and the Rhaegar. Double support here.
Double support on this map, and this is, of course, not only with Malfurion, pretty awesome since they have lockdown on the map itself and the additional heal for Illidan, but this is going to be extremely strong. We see that more and more these days, and with Rhaegar and Malfurion, you have a ton of healing potential there. You can also go into a few other combinations, where Navi play with something with Bloodlust, which is an option for them depending on the next few picks that they will show us.
Very possible indeed. Gamers 2, on the other hand, they still need another range character, they still need warriors, they still need utilities. They basically have damage, and that's about it. They're not showing anything at the moment, and they need a lot of ways to deal with this Illidan.
For them, it's a bit tricky to really predict what's going to come next, because of course they know of that build that Navi was using, where they ran into an Illidan, they ran with a Zeratul. You can really try to go maybe for Bloodlust, and it's something that they have to consider here. They pick Vala, and I like this pick because it picks another auto attack damage dealer away from Team Liquid. So if they want to run one of the Bloodlust comms, they have to come up with another damage dealer. They would have gone for Vala here if that's their plan. And Gamers too, they know that, and they say like, all right, let's take Vala away from them. We have even more damage to our name. But still, if they get a Bloodlust comp with Vala here, it's too strong, and a bit of additional damage doesn't really hurt us. We're going to play aggressive here, and that's what they're trying to do.
Very true. And what else would you say would work with this Bloodlust comp? We were talking earlier before the finals in the lower bracket final about the potential for Tychus. He's not as high picked anymore. He still does decent damage. And if you can get the Bloodlust on his Odin, it will kill almost anything. But as a hero, it's not really picked as much.
Yeah, I was actually thinking maybe even going for something like a Falstad here. That might be a chance because it has like rather global presence. You can jump from lane to lane, get the experience. And you also, of course, have the opportunity to go for more right-click damage with maybe a Giant Killer on level 13, trying to mix it up a bit. We've seen other teams go for Falstad with alternating builds, not always going for that burst build, which is the standard. So there could be a variation.
We will have to see for now. Liquid, they do need a warrior. That is something they definitely need. Oh, that's going to be a Lily coming in from Gamers 2.
That's a super interesting healer here now all of a sudden. No Brightwing on Sky Temple.
It's an interesting move, and it's a very risky move. Lily's healing is a bit above Brightwing when it comes to a team fight. She will heal much better, and right now, Team Liquid only have one way to interrupt Lily's ult, and that's if Malfurion takes silence.
And another thing that we see here is, of course, you have that evasion talent on her, so you can actually, like, if you hit a target with your W, then you make it miss the next few attacks. That's very, very strong if you stay a bit in the back line and then Illidan or Illidan and ETC jump you. If you get that in, then you are guaranteed that he is not going to be as disruptive as he could be. For now, we have Team Liquid not going into that tankless composition that Na'Vi sometimes shows. They add the ETC to the mix. And who are they going to pick for additional damage? Is it going to be a Falstad? What else could we see here? It's very unlikely that they're going to go for Nova. Sylvanas is still out there. That's a hero that they could use.
It's all about, like, what they pick here is basically going to dictate whether they're going into a Bloodlust comp or whether they're going into a normal comp, where the objective is very simply to keep Illidan alive, so they would be running Ancestral Healing in that sense. So, Bloodlust comp, we already spoke about it. Their options are incredibly limited. Falstad is a possibility. Tychus is a possibility. Reyna, not so much anymore. He's not in the higher picks at the moment.
We've seen a couple of Reyna. Who was that? Like one of the teams, actually, I think Arthur's experimented with Reyna at least in their scrims and was doing decent there, but we haven't seen him in competitive play in a long time. Team Liquid they need more damage. They need a bit more than that. They have the opportunity to go into Bloodlust. They have the opportunity to go into Silence since they have a double healer comp to support Illidan. Gamers 2 already showed that they want to play Lily, and it's Sylvanas instead for Team Liquid, going more for that very popular hero that can disable structures, that can really add additional damage as well. It's a really interesting comp that we're seeing for Team Liquid, but Gamers 2 with a lot more damage on the board.
Yep, very much so. And we'll have to see how they finish up. They very much need a warrior. ETC has been taken from them, who's definitely the most in-your-face in terms of warriors and in terms of auto-attacks, due to the fact Guitar Hero is a very common talent on him, which gives him that crit every time he uses his guitar solo ability. Muradin would be absolutely great, especially if he's built like the Team Liquid one, or with the Reverberation against the Illidan. An amazing talent.
I would definitely go for Muradin with Reverberation here, because for the simple reason, I mean, there's other heroes that would work too, but so much on the composition that we're seeing for Team Liquid hinges on that Illidan. And if you get him low, first of all, you have a Lily, which makes him miss attacks. Then you have the Reverberation, which makes them slower. If you have all of that together, then Illidan should not be really able to do anything here. And they go instead for a Tacita. Wow, no tank, only Vikings at the front line. And then they have a Tacita with this. Yeah,
it's a very, very weird comp out of Gamers 2. We'll have to see what they do with it. You can see him smiling there at the end. So he's like, yeah, they had no idea we were going for this. No one had any idea where they're going for this. And now, we mentioned how picking Lily over Brightwing is a bit weird in terms of mobility. It's also a bit weird in terms of the polymorph that you can see on Brightwing, which is an almost direct counter to Illidan, whereas Lily is going to be relying so much on her blind to deal with Illidan, which is absolutely lovely, but it's much harder to burst him down because the blind does obviously not go over, or at least stop Illidan casting his evasion, whereas polymorph would have.
I'm looking at this comment, I'm currently really thinking about what they're going to do here, because that is, I mean, they have a plan. Gamers2 showed us several builds right now that at first glance didn't really make a whole lot of sense, and then later on you thought that kind of worked out for them. But this is very out of the ordinary. No tank whatsoever. And when you're up against an Illidan, I mean, the big idea is to really get that Illidan under control. The whole idea of Team Liquid is like keep him alive, get him aggressive, make sure that Illidan can just do his thing. Jump in, dish out the damage, put the pressure on the backline, make sure that it's completely destroyed. The ETC helps him with that. I feel if you go for a Muradin here, that suddenly like goes for Reverberation on level 1. It's a perfect counter together with the rest of the heroes that they currently have, that they run already. With this, what is Tassadar going to do? He can supply you with a shield. That's nice,
he can
but
supply shields,
still.
he can do AoE damage, maybe if you get him all the way to level 16.
But do you need
he
more
can
damage
get
for
a
that?
slow on his Storm, but other than that, the
You
Shrink
don't
Ray,
need
I guess,
damage.
is nice, but Lily can also take Shrink Ray. I'm really not sure.
They have a Hammer, they have a Vala, they have the Vikings. They are not lacking damage, so I feel that aspect doesn't really do too much here. I would not be surprised to see a Mule picked on Tassadar simply because they don't need static charge. That extra damage is amazing when you do not have this many damage dealer, but with 3 of them, I don't know. It's an interesting comp. It's a very interesting one. Running it without a tank, a few teams have tried that. Very few succeeded, but it can work.
It's a very weird comp. I'm very excited to see how this game does go. Because we have to remember the Gamers2 are running the Lost Vikings as well. That's a lot of targets that can steal Lily's heals from the more important ones. Because, for those of you who don't know, Lily's heals auto-target the nearest hero and then the lowest health hero. Lowest health hero, which is near enough to you, and then the nearest hero if no one else is, or people are at the same health.
And a quick tip, if you want to actually like play Lily, hold down that Q button in every single team fight. You don't need to press it over and over again. Works a little bit like Sylvana's Q, and it is a crazy heal that you get there. Activates with every single cooldown that you have, and you get a lot of that. But of course, most of her heal really relies on the heroic ability.
Great thing that you find out at LANs is you do learn stuff. I only found out you could hold down Lily's Q and Sylvanas' Q yesterday. I've been spamming it like an idiot. For now, though, we are into game number 1. Kaudor, would you like to introduce the players?
We have to the left side of the map here on Sky Temple in our 4th game, Nika on Sergeant Hammer, Leo from Korea on Lily, showing that little panda some love. Yue is playing a Vala in this case, and in the mid lane it is ADRD currently on the Vikings with a quick pause from the Polish team, apparently having a bit of a problem. Down to the bot lane, in this case we had Tassadar being played, actually by Shehu, which is really interesting. The tank player with Tassadar, not really a role that
a phase shift build in terms of the race card Tassadar, getting that double huge health regen if you take the extra duration on the dimensional shift.
I guess in theory he could completely mix it up there.
Because this is actually many months ago in terms of combat. It sounds like we're back in the game, and in fact we are both teams across the middle. We'd like to introduce the team on the right hand side.
To the right side we have a Falcon in this case, currently on Sylvanas, Grand Paquette on Rega. We're currently in the vision of the team to the left, as you can see here.
Our observer, please press E if you could. That should take you to everyone. There we go.
And we're going to take a look at the talents in just a second as well. So, I like the nickname. Well, we have ADRD here. We're going to look at the talents in just a second. For now, we're having the first kill against Eric. And down to the bottom lane, or in mid lane actually, it is Lucifron dealing with the Lost Vikings right now. Tassadar is starting to rotate. The temples are, of course, going to activate soon. And here we have the talents with the Conjurer's Pursuit on level 1 for Tassadar.
Yep, just getting that extra regen. Choosing not to go for the Storm version of that. This way is an easy way to get regen, especially when you're kind of going a bit later in the game. And for a non-tanky comp, this looks like a very late game style that they're going for in terms of talent.
Yeah, especially for this map. The Conjurer's Pursuit on Lily on level 1 is, on the other hand, really a great talent. Like, it really works well. On level 4, you have several options. The lockdown against Nika. Sergeant Hammer needs to be careful. Falcon getting the damage in with his Q, using the Shadow Dagger over and over again. And they take the temple at the top lane and are hitting level 4 in a second. And there it is, the extra talent.
Oh, ADRD getting taken down there from the brute, and so does Nika. No, he gets the last second heal from Leo from Korea, and he is now trying to micro away, just doing some harassment damage to Falcon. Falcon takes down the Viking as well.
Very well done by Team Liquid so far. They're doing a great job. And by the way, the top temple taken by Grand Paquete here for Team Liquid. The mid temple is completely neglected right now. Finally, a hero is moving over there. Lucifron is starting to take a few of them away. He's still holding that. But yeah, Team Liquid is getting a great start into this game. Level 5 versus level 4 already.
Yep, Gamers 2 have sent 3 people into this mid temple, meaning they are neglecting both bot and mid lane, giving Team Liquid the XP lead that they so crave and do so well with. Lily has taken a Blinding Wind talent on her level 4.
Yeah, going for the Blinding Wind here in this case, and as you can see also standard talents at least for Sylvanas with the quick move straight into the Envenom that we're seeing for now. And of course a multi-shot build for Valla, especially that 13, is going to help a lot to keep Illidan away from you.
Yeah, I would also like to point out that it seems to have skipped a bit now because Vikings are on their way down to mid/bot lane. This is the first time I ever saw Vikings being used in a group lane. Very, very interesting, as opposed to being on their own in a solo lane.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings right now, the one thing that you really want to do is once the temple at the bot lane activates, you want to split them. You really want to make sure that you are able to just like jump up to the top with one of the Vikings, soak the experience. You're not on level 10 anyways. If you have all of them together, you can do a bit more. But in this case, it would really make sense to start splitting them off a bit. Level 7, of course, as mentioned, is hitting so much faster for Team Liquid since they are establishing this lead. And they're also trying to steal camps away from their opponents now. We have the Mule taken on Malfurion in this case. And Mule on maps where the objective attacks your structures directly, as is the case on Sky Temple, is absolutely amazing. So good talent to take, reduces the heal for him a bit. But besides that, we have very, very normal builds for the rest of the team. And with a double healer, you're not too worried about that.
Yeah, then they are not too concerned, but they are running the double. I still find it weird. Running double healer against the comp, one healer and no tank. Down goes Olaf to Vortex and Lucifron. Nothing they can do about that. This top lane though, Blackscorp is going very aggressive on this. Falcon has already banked out, and Blackscorp manages to get out and just lets the Bruises finish that off.
Yeah, Lily, who didn't go for the healing ward on level 4, on level 7, now goes still for the good stuff, trying to increase the power of the healing pots there. So later on, it's going to be very interesting to see the rest of the talents, especially on 13. For now, we're having at the bot lane the Temple about to activate in a few seconds, and level 8, nearly 9 for Team Liquid. This is really where the Vikings have to come into play and to start to close that gap in experience. If they cannot do that, then Gamers 2 is going to be in trouble with the 10s. And they lose Eric already. The top lane, ETC, doing work. They steal the camp though, or at least take the Bruiser camp, so that will de-push the top lane. But the bottom Temple goes without even a contest, at least for now, to Team Liquid.
Yeah, the Vikings still currently grouped up. They're not split, they're not soaking XP, and they're just letting Liquid get further and further ahead. And at this point, Liquid are just about to hit their level 10s. Falcon throwing so much harassment onto everyone here.
There's the level 10, Tranquility, Wailing Arrow, Stage Dive, Metamorphosis, and Ancestral Healing. And this is the point where Gamers 2 just has to say, alright guys, this is not going to work out. We have to move back. We cannot contest this temple. There's no way. It was actually Team Liquid that got ahead farther in experience thanks to the split push at the top. They're going straight in over here. Here comes the Stage Dive. Leo is low. Down goes Valla. They're going straight for Lily, and goodbye Panda as they're jumping straight for Tassadar now too. Really great fight that we saw there. Vortex using Tranquility. They're going for boss. They're using their timing window that they have there. They're using the level 10 and they get their kills in.
And we are about to head straight to a replay to see that again while Liquid do take down this boss. Super well played by them, using their talent advantage and their heroics. And there we go, we're seeing Falcon and Vortex backing out. Blackscorp immediately dives in, double silence. Stage dive catches out so many. Janway immediately destroyed. There's the Metamorphosis, used that late because he could. He'd already dived in. Nika, only one able to escape thanks to his boost.
Very, very weird that Gamers 2 would go for that. Yes, the boss is attacked, but you have to let that go. It is very tempting to try and fight, but if you're on level 8 and your opponent is on 10, there is no way that you are going to win this without maybe even, like maybe with a Chen that you can steal it out with a, well, no, you don't have one Rekex, you don't have your heroic, so this was very suicidal what they did there, and they paid a very high price.
Yeah, this boss will push in. They do actually kill it off before it kills a tier 2 tower, so pretty cool. They are able to protect that lane.
Another thing that really baffles me a bit is that there is no Mule for Gamers 2. They still went for static charge here, and it's not like they're lacking damage.
They don't need more damage, they need survivability, and they need to stop Liquid taking all their objectives, because that's what Liquid does.
Exactly, like the Mule would be so valuable to them, and they don't take it. And Team Liquid with their healing comp there, they have the Mule, they have everything that they need. They have a 1-level lead. 3.5 kills against 0. So far, this game is not going well for Gamers 2, and so far I don't really see that hidden secret behind this composition.
I would agree. And
maybe it comes into play in a bit, but at this point, Team Liquid is taking them apart.
well, they do have their heroics now, so if it's going to be anything, it's going to be around this level. Also, we just had the damage tab up there, and we saw that Falcon on this Sylvanas was doing so much damage with something like 1300 damage. Sorry, 13k damage, as opposed to 8k, which is the next highest.
Well, here we have the mid lane right now. I was already saying like 1300 damage on Falcon, 8 minutes into the game.
Pretty
Ben, please. He's AFK. Lucifron is already there, and before that report comes in, Falcon apparently trying to make up for that, dishing out more damage in the mid lane. Blackscope down to the bottom. Bottom already moving straight for that temple. They have that without a problem. They can drop the mule to make up for the damage dealt by the mid temple. The rotation from Gamers 2. Team Liquid is trying to play it safe. They're not going for it. They're waiting for the 13 talent. They're saying like, hey, we have a lead. Why not use that? Wait a second, take a hit or two, and then with the level 13 talent, we can group up again and go straight for it. And that's what they will do here. There's the talent, with the passive talent on Illidan going for the next evasion talent. We have also Feral Lunge and Evasive Fire, Sylvanas and Falcon and Vortex already as bot lane starting to push in together with that Black Arrow.
Yeah, in Gamers 2, they did take down quite a few buildings in their top lane, so they got us quite close. And Lucifer's going to be able to stop the bees with his Echo Pedal, and he's going to get out. And this means Falcon and Vortex get a little bit more damage done, but Dow is going to be more than enough to make them back up.
What a boss. He knew exactly that they're there. And they cancel it out. Leo is careful here, and Nika is moving in as Drumbucket was trying to annoy them on Rega to a certain extent. The bot lane still being attacked, still a 13 talent lead. We'll want to see the next level very soon drop in for Gamers 2 as well. The Polish team here, Lily is being played still, and like, yeah, the 13 talents, and let's see what we're going to get for them.
We do have another Blinding Wind talent for Lily, and we're very unfamiliar with Lily, so it is either Hindering Winds or it is going to be the Surging Wind. Surging Wind is an amazing ability if you can hit enough of the enemies, because it makes it also, the ability power buffs your healing.
Yeah, the thing is that they give up on a potential shrink ray that they have in this case, which is another great talent to keep Illidan low. So no shrink ray for them on 13. For Sergeant Hammer, they have Giant Killer. And now it's nearly a 2-level lead that we're seeing for Team Liquid here. Team Liquid is playing a great game, and in this best of 5 series, they are ahead with a 2-1. If they win on Sky Temple, then it is over.
Oh, Black Storm is being forced back. And no, he is a Metamorphosis is coming in. Saiji is able to tank that for a bit. He's trying to face him down. He shields himself. He dimensional shifts again. Dowie is doing a huge amount of damage. Grand PKT is in the back as well. Black Storm goes onto Shiho. And Dowie also trying to retreat around the building, but he gets chased down. The Vikings are out of the longboat. They get stunned, 2 of them. We're seeing Olaf using his dash to get to a minion. He's going to get out, but now Liquid are going straight for the enemy's base. Nika is in full retreat.
3 heroes down, and here comes Team Liquid moving for the keep. Shadow Dagger in action. They're using the wave to disable that as well. It's a 4-man rotation. The 5th man jumping in too. They're going straight for the keep here, and this is the first one to go down. We're having the Vikings trying to soak some experience to close that gap, but the 16 talent now available. A double blood for blood, a potential 3rd coming up in a bit, and there it is. We're having Stone Skin on ETC and Hardened Focus on Malfurion. This is looking extremely bad for Gamers 2. Not a single kill despite all the damage that they have in the entire game.
Yeah, sometimes you just need something to tank. Tastar wasn't able to tank it up. He got burst down pretty quick. He was able to survive a while with his dimensional shift, but like I said, not enough to keep himself alive. And now Liquid is taking full control of the shrine, and they're going to do so much damage to Gamers 2's base.
This is looking worse and worse for them. Now suddenly the mid lane is being attacked. Another keep might fall here. It's a massive lead and experience that we are seeing for Team Liquid, even though the Vikings were trying the entire time to just make up for it by soaking 3 lanes. We're having in the bot lane, the boss apparently up again, and that is of course another high priority position on the map now. The temple is taken. And still Team Liquid just pushing in. And Gamers 2 still have to show what they want to do with this comp. They still have to show that they are able to make that happen. Here comes the stage dive. Lucifon is going, and Shihur is nearly dead. ADR about to lose the first of his Vikings. Here comes Spala with a strafe, at least trying Leo with his heals, but now all of them are down, and the Horix moving away. And there's also the full HP on all of the heroes for Team Liquid. Olaf down, Tesla down, Lily down. Everybody just dying and getting evaporated, and Team Liquid is gonna go for the kill.
They are going for the kill, and if they can do it, Dower and Nika trying to defend, but it doesn't look like it'll be enough. This will be GG, and it looks like Liquid is going to take it. We see a quick replay of that fight. Decisive able to survive massively there. Shiffle, sorry. We're seeing ADRD doing a lot of damage, but everyone just tanks it with that tranquility from Malfurion. They do not care about ADRD's damage. He pops out of the Vikings, and we're seeing Falcon get huge splash damage, and it is GG. We hear the core explode in the background, and it is Team Liquid who are your PGL champions of the Storm.
Very well played here. Team Liquid, they take it with a 3-1 against Gamers 2. They defeat them again, and we're going to see another short replay of those last few seconds. A great game by Team Liquid and so much momentum. And the composition that we saw from Gamers 2 just never was able to stop them.
It was a good idea. It might have been a good idea. It could have had so much potential, but Liquid's not the people to maybe take a risk like that on, because they will punish you. Looks like we're not heading to a replay, so
I still have to say that I really loved the comp at the beginning, and those last two picks were just weird. Having that Lily in there,
maybe?
The Muradin alone with the Reverberation would have been so good against the Illidan, and Illidan was just like one of these heroes that Team Liquid relied upon so much. Everything hinged on Illidan. If you control him, then you have so much that you can do there. And just think about Brightwing Muradin instead. Suddenly you have massive damage behind you. You have a lockdown against Illidan with, of course, a crit rise in 16, the polymorph in general. You can even go, if you want, not for Blink Heal, but could go for Tranquility, and once ETC and Illidan jump in, you just...
Emerald Wind,
of course,
everyone out.
You just push everybody out, the disengage is there, and then you start picking targets. And they decided to go for Lily Tassadar, which I have in this never seen.
It was interesting, like the Blinding Wind was actually pretty effective, but Polymorph does the same job, only a little better at this point. The healing was amazing from Lily, massive amounts of healing. Very little the Liquid could do about that, but they just did so much damage. Sylvanas didn't see the damage tab at the end there, but it was absolutely amazing how much damage he was doing. And at this point, you see her chasing in, just absolutely wiping out ADRD in that boat.
Gamers 2, of course, playing a great tournament here as well. They were doing really well throughout the entire tournament, taking down then also SK once again in the last best of 3 series. At this point, we're having Team Liquid, the first champion on the major tournament that we have here offline, the first of its kind in Heroes of the Storm, which is actually quite amazing. The community is growing. It's still a beta game, and we're already here at DreamHack. We have the teams here. And what I love about this is the teams are just so consistent. The two that we see in the finals have been playing like this together for months, really committing to the game, and it is really starting to show and to pay off. They've been playing exceptionally well here, and of course, especially Team Liquid dropping a single map throughout the entire tournament.
Yep. And dropping one map through any tournament is pretty impressive. And in Heroes, where we saw pretty much every team drop a couple maps here and there, some series going all the way to the end, the Fnatic versus SK series, for example, went all the way to the final game, and all these teams played so well, but Liquid, just one game is so impressive.
And it was also the way that they did it. Oftentimes it already looked like they had lost the match, and then suddenly they turned things around. That Muradin thing was absolutely epic that we saw there from them on Blackheart's Bay. That game was insane. And just in general, the team is doing really well here. Of course, for quite a lot of the players, it's still their first offline tournament, and being on the big stage can be pretty intimidating, but that's experience that they will get over time. It was pretty cool to have that tournament with the 4 teams here that qualified through the online qualifiers. They were able to really make it happen there. And Team Liquid, especially on that last map, they played nearly flawless. The rotations on the map, never really losing out on too much experience against the Vikings. The fights called so well, and it was just like they forced mistakes out. They were able to go with the 10 immediately to the boss, and that was just because they established that lead to an extent where they said, okay, we have enough time. If you are only at level 10, your opponent is 9.5, going for that boss is very optimistic. But they said, make sure that you get that lead, make sure that we control that now. When we can get the boss, go for it. And Gamers 2 was just sitting there, was like, hey, guys, we need to do something.
We have to contest, we have to either push, but they were nowhere near the enemy base, so they couldn't split push. So contest was the option they went for, and Liquid were like, no, we have heroics, and you don't, so we're going to go in and kill you all.
Yeah, they dumped him, and especially that stage dive, it hits just the back line. There was no escape anymore.
so
It was
good.
perfect. It was in a perfect spot. Half of the heroes already trying to disengage, and they ran straight into that stage dive. And we are giving it back to the stage, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in here. And here are your champions, Team Liquid, and of course the second place Gamers 2.
Okay, guys, what an amazing series. Now it's time to award our two teams. Guys, second place, Gamers 2. Give it up for Gamers 2. Okay, and the winners of the PGL Spring Champions of the Storm, Team Liquid! One more time for Team Liquid! Okay, everybody, don't go anywhere because the finals for the cosplay competition will begin shortly. Thank you.